All right. Well, good morning, Tartaria, Australia. Listen, we've made it to the farm like 12 hours ago. As you can see, the jungle behind me. But our internet's shit, so this is going to be one of those podcasts. Sorry.
We're sorry.
Hey, man.
Hey, hey. I know, right? The internet comes from magic satellites in the air. It covers the whole Earth. Yet
Yep.
we can't get it when we drive half an hour out of civilization.
Can't get it. Half an hour, a bit longer than that. But yes, can't
Well,
get it.
casino's kind of civilization, kind of.
It's kind of. Well, just so you know, everyone who's planning to or thinking about heading to the Jolly Swag Tour, it's beautiful. The
Yeah,
sun is shining, the skies are blue, it's not raining.
it's great. I'm in shorts, man. Like, yeah, it's warm. It's really good. The ground's all dry. No chemtrails in the sky.
Oh, I'm in a t-shirt. This is marvelous. I think we're going to
Mm.
have a wonderful, wonderful time. So we've arrived 12 hours ago on the farm and getting ready now to do the final preparations for all of you to come and have a party with us, particularly my birthday party. Campbell's jealous because
Yeah,
his was 2 weeks
I just want everyone to know that it was my birthday
ago.
recently. So if you wish to bring gifts, they will be accepted.
But mainly it's my birthday.
After the event,
Um,
2 days, I like to stress after the event.
Saturday night, we're going to have a big birthday party, everyone. So, but that's dependent on whatever we all bring. So, if you want to get some balloons or, some party
Party
phenomenon
poppers, screamers,
or cakes, we're always up for like 100 different cakes arriving. That would be fun.
donuts.
Anyway, we are super pumped and excited. So, as you guys know, we've gone from the live gig at Mulaney, and which we were very, very happy with, sold out and a fantastic Sunshine Coast kind of crew. Although we had some amazing travelers from all over Australia, really, it was yeah, I think our best show, Campbell, myself.
It was awesome, and we are going to be doing a show on the Jolly Swag Tour. So if you want to see it, come down. Tickets still available, space still available. But go getting quick.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
coming
I
up
mean,
soon.
of course, I'm the tripled Earth Virgo of this party, and I've been lying in bed worrying, of course. But now that we've been here, there's a lot. We have got plenty of space. So you know how things shrink in your mind when you worry about things? They shrink. The problems exaggerate, and the solutions shrink. Like,
I know. That's why you shouldn't worry, people. But
yeah,
yeah, like
yeah. I do all the worrying for all of us.
we thought it was going to be a jungle and we'd be pushing more mowers for a week. But we got here and there's been cows and it's all the grass is down. It's looking
I
great.
know the cows have done a marvelous, marvelous job. Of course, we
Of
haven't
course.
been here long enough to go and look for magic mushrooms in the cow turds, but yeah, I reckon we'll have a good little micro business on our hands in a couple of months. Um, anyway, Campbell, what a big 3 weeks. So we didn't do a podcast last week, because I was sick in the middle of the newspaper production. And
Mm.
on that topic, may I do a spiel? Would you permit me a little spiel? Which is, it has been such a fascinating journey, and I am so pumped. I think what we're about to produce here as a community is going to be significant. I think we're going to end up with a offline archivable journal of our consciousness and thoughts. I mean, obviously there's a million plus signs to being offline, and we don't have to tell you guys about them, but just getting our community's vibe into something physical in our hands is just, it's extra work. It's obviously it's much easier to do a digital publication, but fuck, I personally don't want to sit there and read another digital publication. So as if I could ask anyone else to do that. We've
Yeah.
overloaded with all.
And you can't leave them lying around on your table to freak out your extended family, right? You can with a physical newspaper. When the family come around, chuck it
That's
out
right.
and watch their face when they start
And
reading
it's quite,
it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I like putting it in the toilet myself. That seems to be a good place to put it. We're basically replacing Earth Garden, or I think that was what it's called, Earth Garden, which was a significant but humble publication that started in the 70s, I think.
Like
And,
grassroots and
you'll
those,
find
yeah.
them always at garage sales and always in the toilet.
Yep.
Grassroots. That's it. It was grassroots. Yes. And
Yes.
so they're kind of like our inspiration.
Yes, and
And
exciting
I think that
news. Oh,
basically for our community, it's just such another.
sorry, we've got a
Sorry,
little
no,
lag
go
going
on,
here.
Cam.
Exciting
You were
news,
about to get
yes.
excited.
Exciting.
Yeah, but I'm not.
The paper
Mhm.
now is going into the future. It will be published in color, full color.
This is a marvelous. We're going to credit the Get Your Shit Together hour here and our good work on manifestation because in my day as a newspaper editor and graphic designer, there's no fucking way you could afford to do color over black and white. Like it just like exaggerated the prices. It tripled them, sometimes quadrupled them. But for some marvelous turn of events, when we went to see the printer the other day, yesterday or the day before, they informed us that it makes no difference if it's in color or black and white. It's the same price. And then got a half the quote anyway. And we were just like, fuck yeah, man. So, but what that means for me is that I have to now redesign the whole thing with color in mind because it's a totally different style of design, which means I think we can get it done this weekend. And I think that we will have them here on the Jolly Swag Tour when the event unfolds. And they should be being posted after we get back, which will be mid-September. So you'll get them sort of like at the end of September. That's sort of the schedule at the moment.
Mm. Yes, yes. So link below, guys, if you haven't subscribed for the regular one or for the first free edition. Um, Go below, sign up.
Yeah, the free edition is a cost to Campbell and I. It's actually why we did the Mulaney gig, so we could afford to get this free edition out, printed and posted around the world, which is, it's significant undertaking. But we did it because we know that this idea is lofty and we know that like it's abstract. And until you guys have it in your hands and understand what it's ended up looking like, you won't know what we're talking about. So that
Mm.
was the whole push, like get it out. You guys the opportunity to get it for free and then hopefully inspire you to subscribe to it to get the next edition, but also to contribute to it. So all anyone who subscribes to the publication has free range. You can submit anything, promote anything, anything that's coming out of our community. Fuck yes, that's going to be where it's at. The subscriptions are sitting at $20 a month. Australian, by the way. So if you're anywhere else in the world, that's a
It's like
good
five
deal.
dollars. Mm.
It's the worst deal for the Aussies. Sorry, guys, but that basically covers all the printing, and the postage and the time and just whatever's left over just keeps this little movement of ours plodding along. That's sort of like it was our more evolved attempt at a membership concept,
Mm.
but we just didn't want to do digital fucking online shit. We wanted to do something physical as we like to do on Tartaria, Australia. Hence why we're now in the bush.
Yep, yep.
That's why we do these things.
Ready for
Yep, to get it.
campfires.
Yep.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
you know
like
what's so cool? Oh, go on, Cam.
sorry. I was just going to say everyone's going online, right, with these subscription, sites and blah blah and online newsletters and yeah, that's we want to go retro. I mean, we've all seen what's going on with bots and AI and all this stuff, and the internet's just getting more and
Yeah.
more just unreal as far as not real, not cool, unreal. So we want to bring some realism back, right? Actually hold a paper in your hand, be able to give it to someone, say, have a look at this, have it in your dunny wherever. Basically moving back to to nature, right? To the natural and away from the cyber world.
Yeah. So important, so important. And we talk about this like, as Cam and I start to unfold ourselves into sort of this more sovereign space with the law. We've got some, but once we finish the Jolly Swag tour and back, and the paper's out and everything sort of settled down a little bit, we have it arena and understand what that looks like and how it is and what that means. Basically meaning that everything we do will be now in the private, under associations and trusts. And then Campbell and I are going to undertake the vast personal experiment of reconvening ourselves individually, with the guidance of our wonderful community and friends who are experts in this space. And yeah, that one's quite a phenomenal thing. We're going to do it all live so we can follow the journey until we get to the point where we've literally handed in all of our documents, passports, Medicare, healthcare cards, birth certificates, driver's license, anything that's a part of their system. And Campbell and I, the final moment of the reconvening will be when Campbell and I take our non-passports to the airport and
Time
attempt
travel.
an international trip. And if we can fucking do it, then that means at that point, everyone can fucking do it. So that's
Mm.
sort of like what we're planning to do over the next 12 months. So we're pretty super pumped because it's time, right, Cam? Like,
Uh,
where does
yeah.
the whole truth community lead you? If not the gateway and the pathway to basically completely getting out of their bullshit, completely being untouchable by their systems, laws, and tomfoolery, if you like to put it gently.
Yeah, man, get above the spelling, right? And it's all a scam, and the whole truth community is about the system sucks, right? And there is a big sort of thought that we need to bring the system down, but we don't. We just need to get out of it and ignore it. Ignore it, and it will go away. We don't actually need to be part of it. And obviously, there's different steps to this. You can start off in the private, which is kind of the first step, and then getting right out reconvening is. What it is, we hear about maritime law, admiralty law, and it's all about us being lost at sea. And so they've basically taken over our accounts and trusts, and they're like, well, they're lost at sea, so we'll just look after them and spend all their money, right? Until they can prove they're living. And that's what this exactly is doing. We're saying, no, we're not that name, we're not that straw man. We are flesh and blood, men and women. We're reclaiming our rights. So go and this is what it's all about. This is the way to get out of it is to stop playing their games. So we're going to do it.
Yes. Yes. But I have to confess, like, as a lot of us, I'm ignorant at this point. My understanding is extremely limited. My knowledge on this topic extremely limited. I feel like a 5-year-old toddler when it comes to this space of understanding. But I have to say the little exposure we've had over the last couple of weeks with different meetings, the change in language is
Mm,
just phenomenal. It's
yeah.
sublime. Like the shift in the use of language as you go through this journey is fucking exciting, Cam. I just it's like you got to
Mm,
separate all the words so they all get like cut in half, and you get to actually use language in a way that we've never understood ever in our lifetime, at least.
mm.
So I'm that's one of the things because I love language. I'm
Oh,
that's one of my like I love language. So yeah, I'm super pumped to
yeah.
go through that journey. But right now, I'm starting at basically where most of you are, although there's some very excellent community members who have really gone through this journey. But me personally, this is the beginning. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I know the basics, but I don't really, know how to do all this stuff. We've sort of been in and around this kind of topic for years. But there's a lot of talk out there. You've got to be careful. A lot of people saying do this, do that, and then if you look into it, they've actually done nothing, and people follow advice and get in trouble. So we're taking the advice of people who have been doing this for decades and have done it all and are living this already. So that's the road we're going down, and it's all about spelling, right? Breaking the spell, and this is
I
how they
love
get
that.
us. They get us in school and they teach us spelling, right? The first thing they
Yep.
teach us how to spell. But what they're doing is they're teaching us the English language, right? Trade language, and they're using legalese. So we're running around saying all this stuff, casting all these spells, and all we're doing is entrapping ourselves. It's all
Yep.
about the language. We have to lose. And what it means is you have to know what you're saying. You really have to know what you're saying and start to think about what you're saying rather than just kind of, you know, just saying words for the, heck of saying words. So, yeah, man, we're breaking the spell is what it is, right? And
Yep.
that's really how they've entrapped us. It's a spell. It's the spelling.
I'm so pumped. I just think for the truth community, like where else are you going to go? This is where it's all leading you. All of this disclosure is all leading you to this pathway to
Mm,
understanding. And Campbell and I will insert a living example on the podcast as we do it ourselves. The highs and the lows, the difficulties, the confusion, the clarity, the wisdom, the ignorance, all of it will all be displayed organically on the podcast as we go through it. So you'll get a really strong living example via us of what it all means and how it plays out because we just don't know ourselves. So, it's pretty scary when you're driving along an unregistered vehicle with no license and you have to deal with what that looks like if you get um, identified and highlighted by the system in any capacity,
Mm,
namely those nameless dumbass cops. Um, but you know what it does, of course, is the more wisdom through experience you gain, the more confidence you also gain in this space, and then your ability to speak it confidently and to know it adamantly is powerful shit, man. Like that's
mm,
what I want. I want to be able to walk this earth completely free and have no hesitation in me to declare that to anyone that wishes to commune with me. And that to me is, I think that is the whole purpose. I
yep,
think if you take the whole concept of awakening or concept of waking up or concept of this whole new earth thing, then this is it. This is where it all leads you. These are the physical actions that it leads you to. Otherwise, you're just disclosing their agenda, but it's not having any impact on your actual life or turning you into a sovereign being.
mm,
So 2026, guys, this is the year to come on the journey with us to get out of this entire bullshit system that can drive you fucking mad if you overthink it, which we all
mm,
tend to do because we're in the truth community.
mm. Yeah, yeah. And then the main thing is knowing, understanding who you are and reclaiming that. You know, just understanding that no one has the right to tell you what to do. You didn't sign up for that. You didn't agree to that. So, you know, and we know who they are, right? We know the people running the show are the worst example of humanity possible, if they're even part of humanity, right?
Mm.
But yeah, so it's just simple things like we're men and women. We're not people. We're not persons. We're not even humans, if you want to get into it. So it's all this spelling and standing up for your inherent rights, right? Your sovereignty and being able to stand there. Like that's the biggest thing you can have, right? Like being totally confident in who you are, knowing who you are, and not letting people push you around because they've got something written down. Did I freeze? No, I'm back.
It's all right. Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep
Yes.
going.
So there you go. Yeah, that's it. Reclaim your sovereignty, right? Like break the spell. So we'll be
Oh,
doing it, and we'll be showing all the what's the word? Well, basically the websites and things, and all the stuff you need to do it. If you want to come along for the ride, yeah, we'll be letting you know where to get all the
yep.
paperwork as well. So that's coming up after we get the jolly
Fuck
swag
yeah.
done,
Yeah.
the
And you know,
campfires.
yes. It's so cool because, like, between Campbell and I, we offer really extreme examples. So, Campbell is essentially super easy to reconvene because he doesn't have any ties really to the system. He doesn't have mortgages. He doesn't have debt. He doesn't have even a car, like,
At the moment,
or registration.
no.
I am the other extreme. I've got them all. I am complete. I've got all of that stuff. So, which is, so we kind of represent the extreme opposites of the population within our community. So, if we can do it, especially me, if I can particularly do this with all the things I have going on this realm, being, a business and mortgages and all the stuff, all the bits, then anyone can do it. So yeah, it's going to be a fascinating journey. So stay tuned for that, guys. And also on that note, we've got the Tassa crew coming down on the Jolly Swag Tour to give a good old talk about this and answer anyone's questions. And of course, Campbell and I will be, avidly in the audience, learning as everyone else is learning. So I'm pumped, man. That's just a
Man,
side note, though.
yes, it's going to be awesome. So come down,
Yeah.
Nico.
All right. So, just in grand summary, there are still tickets available for the Jolly Swag Tour. We are selling out quick though. So, if you've been thinking about it, please go ahead and sort that out. This week, I'll be sending out an email to everyone with a bit of a survey so we can get some finer details and some more information about attending. And there's an information booklet available too of anyone who's also thinking about it who hasn't received that. So yeah, it's happening on the 5th to the 7th of September, but we're here now. So any volunteers that start coming through from here on in will be put to work. But it's fun. That's like a fun thing to do to arrive early because really it's like it's getting into the community and claiming your space and contributing, and it just makes the whole journey even better and better and better. And yeah, so if you have any questions about that, send us an email on the tartariaaustralia@gmail.com and I'll answer them. But also put your hands up if you want to arrive a bit earlier. And so that's happening now from now to the basically the 11th of September. And the magazine will be out sort of like the week after that and be in the post by then. And it will be available here. I cannot take any more submissions for this one. Anyone who submits now will go into the next edition.
Yeah.
And yeah, so do consider subscribing, guys, because my vision and Cam's vision is to interconnect this newspaper with all the Tartarian groups around the world. So we've got a really fucking amazing worldwide, but obviously dominated by Australia because we are Tartaria, Australia. Um, and yeah, it's going to be fucking excellent. And yeah, stay tuned for the reconvening plans for 2026. And on
Mm.
to the show, Campbell. Well, what a fucking weird week that's presented us here at Tartaria, Australia. Where do you want to start? Because like we could just quickly mention the mold fungi issue, I reckon.
Yeah. Many people may have seen it. The bunnies, the deers, and now the squirrels that they're infested with a weird mold. They're starting to look like that dude from Pirates of the Caribbean, with all the octopus face.
I should say that, yes. Yes.
Davy Jones, was it? Yeah. Fergus the fungus.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, so the only reason we're bringing that up, so just remember, just to highlight this point again, all of these omens are engineered. Just to go on and on and on about this, all of these biblical end day omens are engineered omens. They are completely unnatural. So a couple of years ago, a channel, Blossom Goodchild, who is an Aussie channeler who does the Federation of Light. I love her. I've always liked Blossom. She's just got my vibe and I'm into her. Been watching her for many years, and I've watched her throughout my time where I've rejected channeling and accepted channeling and rejected the Federation of Light, accepted the Fed. I've gone through so many different points of view on the topic, but I've always loved her vibe. So Blossom started speaking probably about 12 to 18 months ago now about there being this potential of a second worldwide lockdown that would come at the hands of a fungus. And they affectionately named it Fergus the fungus. And it's interesting to watch this fungus now playing out within the animal kingdom, focused in on America, of course, where it always seems to be the beginning of end of all these omens. It'd be like
Mm.
very concentrated in America. Um, so Fergus the fungus, Campbell. So what do
Mm.
we know about fungus? What causes fungus, everyone?
Well, I mean, it's related to sort of damp, really, right? To the water, and this is, I guess, tied into all the weather manipulation, which we know. We all know this is manipulation. All of these weather events, all of this strange clouds in the skies. What happened to the seasons? They've gone. But you mix, water, right? Moisture carries information. It carries frequency. So, and we know that they're manipulating frequency, right? There's all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
We've seen the square waves in the ocean. We've seen the frequency clouds. Had a good example of that over Brisbane a couple of weeks ago. And so is that what this is? Is this frequency manipulation? They're manipulating these molds, funguses with frequency and at the same
100%.
time using frequency to weaken the systems of the animals, right? So they can't fight back, and then boom, you have this stuff, and it looks, kind of ghastly. And of course, it's to push the narrative that we're in the end times, as far as the end of the world, right? It's all ending. It's all apocalyptic. Oh my God, it's all going bad. But come on, we know this is all completely
Ah!
man-made. It's completely man-made. The whole lot,
Yeah.
everything that's going, the earthquakes, right? We know this. Nikola Tesla
Yeah.
had an earthquake machine back in the 20s. Like this is
Yeah.
all tech that they have had, all the stuff in the skies, right? TR3s, all this kind of, it's all tech, and they're trying to get us to create the world they want, right? To lower our frequency, our vibration into, oh my God, it's the end. Well, let's just give up. What can we do anyway? It's all prophesized. When the truth is, we're going into a positive frequency, right? We're on the upswing. We're going back into a much better place, and they're doing everything they can do to make us believe, no, no, the world is ending and there's nothing you can do. And by the way, where do all these stories come from? We know they control social media. So anything that's pumped out there and going viral, that's part of the agenda, guys.
Mm, mm, Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely engineered, and this all comes for me, my perspective, it all comes down to a manipulation of frequency. We are a frequency-based reality. We are we talk about law of attraction, but actually the law before the law, the foundational law of attraction is the law of vibration. It's the law of frequency,
Mm,
and we know that in our whole entire lifetimes, this weather has never been natural. We know that they've been manipulating it far before we were born, at least. And we know that they spend so much time manipulating frequencies. We know that all of the context of the media, of the entertainment industries, all of the industries that give us footage and imagery of what's going on in the earth have been foundationally frequency manipulators.
mm,
Foundationally, from the very, very beginning, we've witnessed evidence in the clouds in the sky and the strange patterns in water. And we're watching now crazy things happening with water and the realm and weather and huge funnels coming out of the ocean and whole ocean lines and shorelines disappearing and never returning. And then boom, there's like a dump of a Niagara Falls sort of event washing out places that now like this is frequency manipulation. So
mm.
so it's interesting when we look at Fergus the fungus as a concept. We're starting to see these reports now. Again, we have to say, Cam, those reports are online and they're social. So are they real? Are they not real? We don't know. But if we correlate, that's not a word.
Corroborate.
Collaborate, corroborate. Um,
Corroborate.
the idea of yeah, of these animals ending up with these strange funguses. So, just to capture the story as it's unfolding, the rabbits are looking like octopuses with these fungal growths. The squirrels look more like they've got fungi that you'd find on a log after it's been sitting
Mm,
there for 10 years. The deer are the interesting one because up until the deer, it was not this thing was not affecting humans, but now it's reached deer. It's now become something that can spread to humans, whether this is real or not. The point is, you can see how if they like manipulate what's happening to our animal kingdom, that they could push an agenda worldwide that there's this deadly fungus operating in nature and everyone has to stay inside, outside of nature. That's generally the concept that was presented with Fergus the fungus, as
yeah,
far as
yeah.
another worldwide lockdown goes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hunting, a lot of hunters, especially in the US, who hunt deer, right? So again, it's taking the food source away, right? So it's all control
Yeah.
systems. They want to control everything, and this is what
Oh,
it's all
everything.
about. And they can only do that if we believe their crap, right? You can't have leaders unless you've got followers. Like the leaders aren't the issue. It's the followers, right? Because you take away the followers, and there is no leader, right? So we've got to understand like everything on the internet, social media has to be questioned. We can't just believe stuff anymore. And then you add in AI and chatbots. And we know they're in there to manipulate our points of views. They will start conversations, these chatbots, about topics like this, and they'll put out their point of view that they want you to follow. So, again, right, you've got to be autodidactic. You've got to make decisions for yourself. Don't ever judge anything as right or wrong, good or bad. Just interesting, and then get some more information until you understand the whole sort of concept.
Yeah.
Look at
Yep.
that face,
Interesting.
man.
Just interesting. Yeah,
Davy
that's fucking
Jones
rabbit.
bunny. I mean, that's
I know,
crazy.
it's crazy. I mean, it's almost unreal. So if you look at it and think that's almost unreal, it probably is.
And
All
and
right.
and
Anyway,
that's another point though. Like, do we even know that this is real? We can't just
we
believe
know
it because
nothing.
we got AI. Like, unless you see a bunny with that, and you can pick it up and have a look, then you don't know. It's
Yep.
just all it's in the
I don't know. You guys
metaverse,
don't
right?
even You don't even know if we're real. You don't even
No.
know if we're like really sophisticated AIs that look like we're not AIs because we smoke and drink and swear. But like, like if that
We?
they're capable of making me as an AI and, bringing in all my, grotty little quirks. I think you won't know we're real until you come and meet us at an event. You actually won't know that we're real. But that's how serious it is becoming. Like we can really say who knows who and what is real out there. So
Mm,
yeah, just side note. So that's
yeah.
Fergus fungus. Now, if that was real, Campbell, if that was real and they do actually like promote this big worldwide agenda of nature being dangerous and it's in the air and the spores and you've got to stay inside, if they do that, what's the solution? Simple solution, because you're going to start by solving it with frequency, right? That's where anything like this would be a frequency issue. So, and same with COVID, that would have been a frequency fucking bullshit as well. So,
Mm,
I would end up with basically, if it was real and it does happen, get yourself an air purifier that kills spores in the air. That's one thing. And of course, sound, Campbell,
yeah.
sound, the sound of music.
Frequency,
Yeah.
high vibrations, and you know, everything's frequency. Our thoughts are frequency. Our thoughts create reality. Don't focus on stuff you don't want to bring into your
Yeah.
reality. That's the biggest thing. Like we were getting here, and we were just determined that it was going to be awesome weather, right? The news, oh no, it's going to be raining for 10 days and all this stuff. Not, it's beautiful here. So it's all, start breaking the spells, right? Break them down. It's all spell casting, guys. So become your own inner wizard. Release your inner wizard. And
Yeah.
what's a female wizard? Is it a witch? I don't know. A wizardess?
No, I think the witches were female and the warlocks were male.
Warlocks with a male, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I
So,
think. So,
so
all right. So, on that topic of the Fergus the fungus, and the animals all getting thing, and obviously we've got all the freaking bacteria and shit growing in the oceans and the lakes everywhere, which Jade talks about on Jade Dreamers a lot as part of the plasma apocalypse and the shifting in the weather. But if we take out this biblical concept of, what's happening. Essentially, yes, they've fucked the weather and manipulate so much. Of course, nature is responding to it. Of
mm,
course, but like I've got to ask Campbell, if we took out the Jews and if we took out the Abraham religions, if we took out all the Abrahamic religions and they never existed on this realm, would we be going through an apocalyptic event? Would we be
well,
going through some big end time reset? I just don't know.
definitely not this one because this is trying to play out the prophecies from those books, from the Abrahamic
Yep,
religions and from the Lord Yahweh, right? Who's that
yep,
Lord who is a jealous Lord and rains down destruction and destroys city, but he's a loving God.
yep. Yeah. So I mean, you just got to ask yourself how much would actually be occurring for real if all of that was not in the equation.
Mm,
And I'm pretty sure everyone would be having a pretty good time
yeah.
here on
And who
realm Earth.
owns all this? Who owns the media? Right? The small hats. Zuckerberg. He's a small hat. All the people who own this new AI stuff coming out, Instagram, like, well, Zuckerberg owns Instagram too, but all these platforms down to PayPal, it's all
Yep.
the whole financial industry. It's all owned by the small hats, right? And so they control the narrative. And that's what we've really got to understand. This is how we break the spell. It's just a story, man. It's just his story, right? Their story. And it's only real or becomes real to us if we believe it and then act on those beliefs.
And then echo chamber it.
Echo, and then the echo chamber. Oh my God. The internet is
Yeah,
such an echo chamber now. It's like it's crazy.
but
Mm,
like we do that. Like that's the truth community. Like we echo chamber things. But
sure.
hopefully, yeah. But hopefully we're in a situation now in 2025 that obviously everyone's aware of that and we're conscious of it. Conscious
Mm,
of it. So yeah.
yeah, yeah.
As
All
far as
this, sorry, all this truth, there's been a lot of, the whole I'm right, you're wrong. My theory is more righter than your theory. Let's argue about it, but we're all truth. I mean, come on, guys, grow up. This is about conversations, right? Everyone's got a piece of the puzzle. We should be coming together, collaborating, put our collective information together and getting solutions, not waltzing around saying I'm correct and anyone who doesn't believe me is an idiot and they're wrong. I mean, that's the government. That's the mind control. So, if you see any channels like this, my advice would be to get away from them. And And just keep in mind that there's a lot of channels out there, and now they're becoming very obvious, right, with the whole AI voices, and most of them have got like David Attenborough or something speaking away. But all these channels where you never see the person, right? You never know who they are. They just this voice that comes out, and they just like basically parrot the same themes, same themes, and they talk in such a way that they are correct. They want you to feel like they're an authority on it. I would tell you to just tread carefully. I mean, you can watch whatever
Yeah,
you
fuck
want
no.
as long as you make your own point of view. It's not an issue. But as soon as you
Yeah.
get sucked into guru and oh my God, they're right, and did you hear what he said? Oh my, it's so sensationalistic. You're being pulled into something.
I agree totally. I agree totally because no one fucking knows. That's the thing. And this truly, I mean, there's a lot to say that this is a really, truly is a choose your own adventure realm where there isn't one truth. That we don't have one unified truth, that no one out there knows the truth, that potentially we're in a constantly individualized, shifting vibrational experience of reality, that there cannot be one truth that explains all of this or prophesizes what's coming in any capacity because even by presenting one truth, you're already like taking out of the equation the impact of the creators that are having to focus on it to bring it into reality in the first place. So there can't be one truth. Like no one can know what's going to happen in the next 5 years or the 10, 20 years. Like that would be an impossible equation
Mm,
because it totally it sets it up as a stagnant adamant destined truth. Like, and we know we're in a vibrational realm. So it's an impossible equation anyway. So if anyone's saying
yep.
that, I agree. Like, fuck, man, that's like there's something else going on there. If you're saying what's happening for sure, then
You're
potentially,
lying.
you've got
No
another
one
agenda
knows.
going on.
If anyone knew the truth, if there
Ooh,
was one, they'd be ascending
preach,
to
preach,
heaven
preach.
like in a glowing light, right? Like if you figure
I
out
know.
everything and you know the
They'd be like,
truth, you're not on YouTube trying to get
yeah,
likes, right? Like so it's all about conversation. So yeah, man, like steer clear of anyone who tells you that they know and you should listen to them. That's what we call a cult.
yep, yep, yep. Conversation is definitely by far so much more rewarding, enriching, and wisdom creating than just listening to someone and being convinced by what they have to say.
Mm,
So that's why we do all this shit because we like to have wire and fire with community in person and have conversations and all leave enriched by the experience.
mm.
But Cam, that was just one little side note, Fergus fungus, just because it's been
I guess,
up and
yes.
around. The actual thing that so this is going to be a shorter show today, but the actual thing that like grabbed my personal attention this week was a video. Now, I know you and I have looked at this sort of on the perimeter before, but I think it's worth us having a re-discussion. So I'm just going to
Mhm.
bring it up and play it. Um,
Well,
and
and you've probably all seen or
roll
heard of
that
this
bit
one.
and see. Yeah, but like it's quite fucking fascinating as a concept, and I think worth. Oh wait. Oh wait. Oh yes. Hang
We
on.
got it.
Pause that. All right. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
But I mean, this has got to do with
All
questioning,
right.
the shape of the realm, all this kind of stuff, what we've been told. We know they lie to us about everything, so why would they give us correct maps?
Mm. Yeah, so one of the things that Cam and I've been loving on the live show that we put together is finding the edge of things. Wait, why can't I move it? Oh, it's not working. Hang on. Sorry, everyone. Keep talking, Cam.
Um, yes, so
All right,
you
I'm
would have
moving.
seen this. This is, well, I
Ah,
won't give it away, but what is this place? We've looked at maps before and how they're all different. They keep changing. We've got all this stuff about, travel restrictions, who's there, all these countries own countries, but where is everything? What is the shape of this realm? And where do the continents actually lie in relation to each other?
yeah, let's see if this will work and then we'll have a chat. Oh, why
Volume,
no volume? Up. No volume.
down on the bottom there. Yeah, that one.
Oh, God. Are you all waiting in anticipation?
Yeah, man.
Nope. Turn up volume. Yes.
All right.
Nope. It's all right. I'll
Oh,
get
did
there.
did you push share sound when you shared?
Yes, I did, but let's
Oh,
see one more time. No, all right, hang on. Oh, building up the equation here.
and bring up the equation, the anticipation,
The equation. The anticipation of the equation.
anticipation of the equation. All right, let's multiply it and not
Wait, is that
subtract
what?
it.
All right, that one.
There we go. I heard something.
Yeah, I had something too. All right, let's go share screen. Bump, share sound. Got it. All right, are we? All right, here we
Yeah,
go.
there we go.
Pause, play.
Big
Actually connected, and you can get to Africa through the Grand Canyon.
Who says you can't walk to Africa from America?
Where are you from?
India.
India? What, you too?
Yeah.
How long have you been walking?
All day.
Did you fly into Mexico and then walk the rest?
Walk.
But where did you fly into?
Walking.
How do you walk from India? Are you from India too?
Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistan. Bangladesh. Okay. Walk from India?
India, Punjab.
India?
Just to make sure you're on the same page, they walk from Iran, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, into Mexico, and into America. Oh, it's about to get better. So go on ahead and like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And leave me a comment to let me know what you think.
The Grand Canyons is the gateway.
Discovery that will blow your mind.
Just a side note, the Grand Canyon is 90% off limits.
Yeah.
Now, how many times have you taken a trip across the pond, as they call it? And it was like a 9+ hour flight. And sometimes it came with a layover. You see this? I'm about to show you the real deal. Take a look. I want you to see how close North and South America actually are to one another. North America and Asia. Asia and Europe. Europe and Australia.
I'm confused by that one.
Asia and Africa. Asia and Europe. Russia and the US. If either of them try to bomb the other, all of us will go. We're too close together. That's good news. Drum rolls, please. The famous Bering Strait that the people who became the Native Americans crossed from their homelands of Siberia and Mongolia to come into the United States to become the natives of America. As you can clearly see, it does not really look like this. It looks more like this. Please tell me I'm not the only one that can see the writing on the wall, that it doesn't take a 10-hour flight. And layovers are not even necessary to go across the pond in either direction. So what does that tell you? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. As always, they suppress my content and they don't allow very many people to view my videos. They don't want you guys to know the truth. So I'm gonna need y'all's help by doing these things here. Thank you in advance.
All right, wait, I'm just going to backtrack to the little bit about Australia. All right. This one depends on how you define the boundary between Europe and Asia. Supposing that European Russia west of the US is considered Europe, then short and soon as Australia and Europe goes from the Russian border to the northwest coast of Western Australia, near Exmouth. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sorry, you go.
No, that's it. So, all right, Campbell. So one thing I know for sure is that every single country in this realm has huge areas that are restricted or forbidden. So let's just start with what's obvious to us. So we know just in Australia that there's whole chunks, apart from all the Pine Gap area and apart from all the restricted military areas, there's literally a whole edge of Australia. If you go from South Australia up into Western Australia at the bottom end, that's completely restricted. Like you literally cannot drive there and you can't get to the edge of Australia. Now that's fucking weird and bizarre, right? So that's number one thing in Australia, I think. Can't believe you frozen. No.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Yep. Oh, can you hear me?
So, so we know. So all around the world, yes, I can hear you. I thought you were deep in thought. All
No.
around the world, they do things like create national parks. They do things that create national parks. They create restricted areas. They go under the guise of indigenous protection. So they will protect whole massive million acres of land masses, mountains, waterfalls, lakes, all sorts of things. They will make restricted. And certainly since 2019, that has come up big time in Australia. Like they've restricted the Grampians and Lake Eyre and Mount Warning, which is here in the Northern Rivers. Like you complete, there's security guards not letting you go
Mm,
up there anymore.
yeah.
So they're like they under the guise of Indigenous rights, which and this is not just in Australia. This is all over the place. For example, the Canyon, right? 90% of it is out of bounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. And we're not saying that those, photos are true or anything. What we're doing is questioning what we've been told because, it seems like a very far out kind of a topic, right? But when put in all this restricted area, there was those videos came out
Oh,
6 months ago
right.
about Australia and the rabbit fence and that it was blocking off, paths to
Yeah.
Antarctica and all this stuff. But the Great
Yeah.
Australian Bight, you can't go there. We get
Yeah.
all these photos, right, of this Great Australian Bight, but you're not allowed to go and look at it. So we don't know how far that is from Antarctica, really. We know that if you take your boat off the coast, a couple of miles, that the Navy will turn up. We know that. We know that if you try and walk through the Grand Canyon, that black helicopters will turn up, right? So these places, they're restricted, but they're restricted with force. Like literally, if you try and enter, the army will turn up. And if you don't turn around, they'll start shooting. So why is this? What are they actually
Why?
protecting? Hmm.
Why?
Why?
Why? So, and this is across the whole realm. This isn't just country specific. The whole realm is suffering from these restrictions. So then, if you add all that together, it does lend kudos to the fact that the map of the Earth is definitely different. Well, we already know that, but like even more so, that the
Mm.
map of the Earth is so different, and that it potentially is completely possible to walk across it.
Yeah.
Like, and not that it takes you 1,000 years, but that it's actually, a relatively viable and easy activity.
Mm. Yeah. Here's a map from the 1500s. And you see here we got, Asia, Africa, Europe. But look over here. All right. So this is supposed to be kind of China, Russia, and this is America. Look how close they are. Right, this is just one map.
Yeah.
We are not told. I mean, that is close, right? So that's just one example that we don't know, where our continents sit. And of course, when they turn, a flat realm into a ball and all this stuff, it just distorts everything. We know that Africa, you can actually fit, here's Africa, you can fit North America, what is it, Europe and China or something inside Africa, right? And this is how they show us Africa. So it's all crap is basically
And
what's going on.
have you got one of the map where you can, with the pond in the center?
Yeah, I do.
And like just side note, everyone, we know that like the technology back then was so much more advanced than what we have today. So one should, by logical rationale, like take the maps that were created back then as much more truthful than the maps that we have today. Now look at that. So there's the pond in the middle.
Yeah, and none of this is frozen, and we know that we're not allowed to go here, right?
Yep. Fully
Antarctica,
restricted.
Arctic, totally restricted. And if you come down here, this is India, so this is China, Russia. Over here we have North America, right? South America. What's this?
Yeah.
What's this massive landmass here,
Yeah.
right? So we don't know if there's other land masses out there, right? And with what's going on, if water levels are changing, who says that there aren't land bridges across here that you can just walk across there, literally
Where's
walking from
Australia on this map?
Well, this is Australia on the outside.
Yeah. See, exactly. What the fuck is
It
Australia?
doesn't exist. It's basically
Oh,
this, is what I can tell. The place with, dragons.
yeah. Australia always is outside these maps, which is
Hmm.
interesting because one whole side of Australia that would link us to what they would tell us would be, you know, the pole, the South Pole, wouldn't it? That's what they would tell us.
Yeah.
We would link to. Um, but we can't access it. It's completely forbidden for no reason. But fuck, Australia could be the entire like walkable gateway to,
Hmm.
the outer realm.
Exactly. And what they do, making this a globe, right? They turn this outer ring
Yep.
into a dot,
Yep.
into a dot like this. So imagine how much of the map has to be cut out for them to do that.
Yep.
Like 99.9% of it has to go. So it's if when you look at it like that, it's not that hard for them to hide land everywhere, right? To, cut out all these lands that they don't want us to know exist, right? Like this one here, which is, I guess, that's kind of where Japan is. But Japan, we're told, is just this little tiny island, right? And down here, this is, above kind of Australia, I guess. And look at this. There's islands everywhere. There's big lands in here. Taugen, what are these places? Well, there's Borneo, which is just, well, that's half of Papua New Guinea at the moment, isn't it? Borneo, I think. Java, which is definitely not,
Yeah.
we're not told it's that size. It's got elephants there, right? So just on maps like this, there's so much variance and difference. Like this, what's this? Matra. That's off the end of, oh gosh, what's that bit there? I don't know. This is India, and I guess this is, going into Asia, the bottom of China and stuff. But look at these massive land masses. Indonesia is not. We're told Indonesia is more like this, right? Just a little bit, a few little dots. And here, right, New Guinea, right? New Guinea is now a tiny little island above Australia, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, we
And we
just
know,
don't
like,
know.
there's so, and even in the land masses that have been observed, like, there are so many islands restricted. Like, there's so many fucking islands that we can't go to.
Mm,
There is so much. If you sit down, and it would be fascinating to compile this, maybe we should dedicate a whole friggin' issue of the newspaper to this topic worldwide. That if we
mm,
sat down as a consciousness and actually identify within our own countries all of the restricted areas, all of the prohibited areas, all of the national parks you can't enter, all of the mountain ranges you can't cross, if we sat down and compiled all that information, we would probably be genuinely shocked and in awe at the amount of restriction and manipulation that's happened in relationship to the maps
mm.
and the shapes and our like we just we've been so indoctrinated to accept these concepts. I mean, like, not just big ones like the earth is flat or round, but like little ones like, oh, we can't camp over there, oh, we can't go through that rabbit fence and go in that direction. Like, we are so programmed to accept the restrictions, especially around national parks. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is national parks? They are massive, massive land masses, massive, into the millions of acres. Like, so
And
much. So why? Why have they decided to identify, and this is across the world, like, this area is a national park.
mm,
No one can live in it. Like, you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't go here. This is where you can camp, and that's it.
that's it. And then look into the amount of people that go missing every year from national parks. It's astronomical.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
massive figure.
So what are they, portals?
Yeah, exactly. Where are they going? Are they finding portals? Are they finding tunnels that go underneath? Are they getting to other lands, right? And they don't want to come back. Like, is this what's going on? Because we just don't know. And this is kind of what we're talking about with the internet, right? And it's like people might say, oh, well, how can they, get the whole world to believe something that isn't true just by, videos? Well, they got the whole world to believe we're living on a spinning ball flying through space just by putting balls in classrooms and putting out
Yeah.
maps, right? Like, this is how they do it. They just manipulate the information we get. They get their experts to tell you it's correct and you must believe them or else you're stupid. And then before you know it, everyone's believing something. Everyone's living in fantasy land in this realm that does not exist, which is the internet, by the
Yeah.
way.
And of course, there's of course, there's all the like prohibited airspaces. So how
Yep.
much of the world can you not fly across? Like
Yep.
it's just so crazy.
Yeah.
There is
Well,
so much prohibited airspace.
yeah, that they arrested a guy about a month ago. This I think it was from Japan or somewhere. He was flying around the world to raise money for cancer, and he was in South America, and he flew to to a base, a public base, like in Antarctica, right? That little bit where they take everyone, and they got him and impounded his plane, threw him in jail, and they only let him out if he agreed to give them
Yeah.
fifty thousand
Fuck
dollars,
yeah.
right? Apparently to their cancer foundation, but we all know what their foundations do with money. So it's completely restricted. Like we've seen that the plane. There was a video come out, people trying to fly a plane up past is it the 66 parallel up to Antarctica, basically, and these Air Force jets just appeared out of nowhere, and they're like, turn around, or we're going to start shooting. Like this is,
Um,
it's
who
not
has the right to do
restricted.
that?
Yeah, who has the right? No one, right? Like,
Turn around or we're going to shoot you.
mm. And we've only gotten to this point because people have believed the spells and they've believed that
Yeah.
someone has power over them and that someone knows more than them, and they just weren't questioning enough. And now
Yep.
we've
And
got
it's an
to this little
interesting,
restricted space that we have to live in.
and
And
it's so
just,
interesting, Cam,
sorry,
because like, sorry, go on.
one more point. We found out in the last video that we did about the rabbit-proof fence that there's, and this is just easy to find knowledge, that there's the restricted land in Australia is bigger than the UK.
Yep. Yes, huh? And imagine what it is in America, and imagine what it is in other India and Africa and all those other countries, like
And
and Middle
that's just
East.
the restricted land, right? Like we've got the whole interior of Australia, and they don't necessarily restrict it, but it's all desert. There's no water out there. Don't go out there or you'll die. Like so we don't go there. So we don't know what's out there. We don't. We just
Yeah.
get a map with a big desert in the middle. We don't know what's out there. There could
And
be a
it
giant
ties
ocean.
it ties in so gracefully to this like issue with man-woman sovereignty law because they own the law of the air. This is the three jurisdictions: the law of
Yep.
the air, the law of the water, and the law of the land.
Yep.
And we, as natural men and women, inherit the land. We
Mm,
are those that live on the land.
mm,
They have put our entire legal system into maritime law, governed by the British. And even to this day, like in America, the maritime law governed by the Brits will override the Constitution, the
mm,
constitutional law, right? So they're literally the whole realm really is governed by maritime law, which is law of the seas, the water, and
water.
they have rights to well, not rights, but they've taken liberties to restrict our use of the water and the oceans. We cannot travel freely across the pond, as that woman would say. We cannot travel freely in the waters, and basically we will be hunted down by military boats from all different countries, not just Australia. You cross out of Australia's jurisdiction and you're in someone else's. Like they've all set it up so everyone has jurisdiction of the water and we can't travel, utilize it. We have no rights there, which is
Mm,
interesting that we talk about the Phoenicians coming from the waters, right? That they've come from this emanation, these beings that gave us the alphabet and the Jews and the Abrahamic religions and the alphabet and all this shit and the economy and the banking systems all originate from the water. And
mm.
then you've got the law of the air,
Yeah.
Campbell, the
Yeah.
dimensional, fourth dimensional,
The internet,
ghostly,
the
spiritual.
cloud, the internet and the cloud, and we know they totally control that, right? Look at censorship online. I mean, this is the air, right? All this stuff goes through the air, right? And it's kept in the cloud. They even tell us, right? So they control that. And if you look into the law, it states in Australian law that their law jurisdiction only goes up to the shoreline. Like they'll tell you they don't have anything on the land. And so they just put us lost at sea, throw us out in the water because they control that. And as soon as we say, no, we're from the land, they've got no jurisdiction left.
Well, we first of all you have to say, no, we are alive and
We are
living
alive,
and we're from
man,
the land
woman.
because
Yep.
the whole economy is based on death,
Dead.
death, as we put in the last podcast. the 6 billion missing dead people that underpin our economy being the six other versions of myself that are written across my Medicare card and my driver's license and my birth certificate and my passport and all the other fucking shit, the
Yep.
mortgage, all that stuff. All of those versions of myself that are not me are a profitable industry or for the economy. And that's across the whole world's population. So
Yeah.
we know that they're not burying the amount of people. We know we had
No.
that whole conversation, which we're going to follow on next week
Yes.
with.
With Paula, yeah, we did try and record that, but didn't work out. But we'll be back. But yeah, I was looking into it a bit, and just Facebook, just I'm pretty sure it was early this year, over 5 billion bot accounts on Facebook. Right, that's almost the population they tell us, is on the whole world. And these are known fake accounts that are pretending to be people, but they're not. They're just in the air somewhere, floating around, like all these bloody computer crap, right? So, like just there, and because of that, they're influencing people, and they're making money because they all
Yeah.
follow each other, right? It's this
Yeah.
whole fake thing that doesn't even exist, and we're interacting with it, thinking that it's real.
Exactly. And the internet and AI and crypto, I know I've been bashing it recently, but the AI, crypto, and the internet, the economy is all being moved into the air.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting? Like it's all becoming of the air. Like the internet is not a thing. It's something that we cannot get our heads around that is working in some sort of air, multi-dimensional, fourth dimensional ghost realm. Like it is not physical. It requires physical resources. For example, and we've talked about this before, like one image generated on chat is like 9 liters of water. So, considering how much natural resources are required to feed and to feed, what's the right word, to operate this of the air AI process is like they would automatically be in such $1 trillion of debt to the inheritors of the earth, the
Hmm.
land, us, once we've reconvened, because that water is coming from us, from our lands, from our lands.
Hmm.
They're not using salt water, people.
No,
You know,
no,
they
freshwater
are
water.
using what, and then like the amount of fucking water required to bring this. I mean, crypto. You guys, we think about it as like this. We can't even get our heads around it. We can't even fucking get our heads around it. What the hell is crypto? Like it's like this new concept of an air-based economy where you're mining the air and you're generating air coins that are then being somehow translated into actual physical coins. And all of this is like some mass delusion that we're all buying into. And yes, I applaud and champion those who are making money from it right now.
Yeah.
Like my partner is fucking into it, like loves it. It's very exciting. The pirate is coming out. The pirate's coming out, which is ironic. I always say you're being a pirate, which essentially they are. But
Hmm.
it could be more like you're being an astronaut because like, what the fuck is crypto? It's in the air. So people are making capitalizing right now, but that has to happen, right? You have to build up this vibration, this energy that people are making millions of dollars because they've invested in this air-based delusion and proving it and then inspiring others. And then people think they're missing out and they've got to get on the bandwagon. So then they start investing in it. And suddenly this thing that isn't anything becomes something and it's all airborne.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
People
they run
create
it.
their own coins, right? And they're like, oh, here's a coin, I'm releasing it. And people start putting money into it and it doesn't even exist. But so, and obviously, social credit system, right? I think this is where it's heading. But saying that, if you're making money, you know what's going on and you can get in and get out within the next couple of years, well, why not? If you can turn their
Fuck yeah.
non-existent air coins into tangible, assets that are, that live on the land, then go for it, But just understand you need to know your stuff, right? You really need to know what you're doing, or else you'll probably get burnt because there's so many and scams out there, especially AI. AI are doing this, man. They're promoting all these new crypto coins and they're having conversations between themselves, all these bots that don't exist, saying, "Oh, I made all this money. I made all this money." Oh, and people believe them and then invest, and then there's nothing there. So
Tell me, Cam, what was that you were telling me about them building a new AI
mm,
um
yeah,
plant.
it's Zuckerberg, it's Meta. It's in the US. I can't remember which state it is, but basically the state has been in drought for a couple of years, right? They've moved in. When they turn this on, they're already using water and it's affecting, obviously, already the water resources because they're in drought. And so they're going after, they want the rights to the drinking water of the state, take it away from the people to cool their AIs. And when it's up and running, it's going to take twice as much energy to run it than the state actually creates every year. This is just one facility. So, I mean, it's they don't care about you guys. If you haven't worked it out yet, the government hates you. All these people who own social media, they hate you. They are doing everything they can to bring you down, to steal your assets, to control you, right? And push you into 15-minute cities where you'll own nothing, but you'll be happy. VW have released a car. And when you buy this car, you buy
Oh
it
yeah, you told me.
outright and own it. You don't get all the power. You've then got to pay a monthly subscription to actually access the full engine. They restrict it with their
Wow.
computers, and you got to pay a subscription every. So this is moving into cars, obviously renting with houses. Everything's gone subscription these days, right? And what does that mean? You can't even buy a computer program and own it anymore. You have to rent it, right? Month to month. You'll own nothing and be happy.
Oh, it's a funny thing, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, like it's quite extraordinary that they've managed to fake the economy and then now in our lifetime turn it into an airborne multidimensional ghost realm economy and base that on dead people. I mean, it's so very ghouly. Like because of course, like once you understand how this has all been structured, you understand that they cannot work. The reason it's so ghouly and the reason it's like founded on dead people, fake dead people, is because they cannot interact with the living man and woman. They
No.
can't interact. So like we're in this situation and they can't create and they can't give life. So like it's quite phenomenal. I mean, essentially like can you imagine like stepping out of this realm and just looking at it from above this realm and thinking, "Oh my God, these guys are trapped in a zombie in a zombie world and they don't even like we literally are." Like it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. And even like with the beautiful nature around us. When we talked about the where all the missing bodies, like you didn't hardly ever see dead animals or birds or anything in nature, which is
Mm.
weird. And we understand the cycles of life and things will eat things and things will rot and all that stuff. But the amount
Yeah,
of nature
it's
that
the
we're
amount.
exposed to.
Yeah, yeah. We mentioned this before, and there was a lot of comments like, "Well, I've seen a dead bird." Well, great, but we're talking millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of animals are
Over your
dying
lifetime as
across
well.
the exactly. So we should be seeing these things all the time. I mean, how often do we hear about people dying? And there's definitely less people in the animal world, right? This stuff should be everywhere, but we just don't see it. Maybe birds are just, little spy cameras that recharge on the power lines, right? I
Don't
mean,
you think it's sorry, God.
do you remember that when that came out? Birds aren't
Yeah,
real.
I
Yeah.
know that was the thing. It is weird though that like we here like wanting to reconvey ourselves and get back into being inheritors of the earth, of the land, and claiming our born rights there. And so where do you sit with that undertaking and the idea that we're still in some form of a simulation, like a vibrational simulation, like claiming your rights of the land seems to be in contradiction to the idea that we're also in potentially like this ever-changing vibrational simulation. Like you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
there's so many layers to deciding how you want to spend your time.
mm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's an interesting one.
it is. I mean, I think to me, it's really all about realizing who you are, realizing that no one's better than you. No one has the right to rule you or tell you
Yeah,
what
I
to
mean that's
do
a
or
good vibrational
Yeah,
shift.
it's a good place to be. If everyone
Yeah,
stood in their power and knew that they were of flesh and blood, man or
yeah.
woman, with blood in their veins and air in their lungs, well, no one, this whole control system could have never started, right?
Mm,
Because they're all essentially dead people. We can't prove that these people exist. Has anyone ever seen Mark Zuckerberg driving next to them or in a restaurant or any of the movie stuff? Like, you don't see these people unless they're in a movie or doing a concert or they're being interviewed, right? Apart from that, they don't exist really, right? So we don't even know if that's real or how real they are or how many, all this stuff about cloning, how many are there, Like if they die, do they just get replaced? Do they do their job
Yeah.
and turn into someone else, right?
It could have always been like digital rep movies could have always been that.
Yeah,
Like you just
totally.
let I don't know.
Totally.
Just I mean, I guess the way you want to govern yourself from this perspective is like, what's going to change my vibrational perception of reality? Like, what pathway do I take? What choice do I make in all the choices you could make right now? You could just stop it. This is a simulation, but I always have felt that it's so hollow and empty. Like vibrationally, it never makes me feel good. To think we're like just floating around in a simulation and have no like consequence or whatever. But
Mm.
the idea of like going through this understanding, like getting out of this like binding bullshit system that we're in, that vibrationally feels so powerful. It feels so strong. It feels so alive. It feels so like it just feels so fucking. Oh, it feels like a massive upgrade in your vibrational perception and how you are as a person, how you perceive yourself and how you interact with this reality, whatever that reality is. So I
Mm.
think for me, like I'm choosing to follow things that vibrationally like make me think, fuck, yes. Is that even possible? Let's go do like I can feel the surge of excitement in me when I think about it because I can feel the surge of sovereignty that comes through, and that
Yeah.
sovereign energy is strong, man. It's
Yeah.
strong. It's like it's not it's more than just warrior.
Yeah.
It's like custodian, and it's
It's not
yeah,
restricted, right? It's expansive and it's freedom, where the other way is fear. I'd
yeah.
love to do this, but I can't because what would the government say? Oh my God, they were going to,
But
fine you
our
if you
community
do
doesn't think
this.
like that. Our
It's
community,
nice,
like
yeah.
we don't have that situation here. Like everyone is conscious, very conscious of all that shit.
Hmm.
But like even from this subtle level of being conscious of it, like how often are
You
you
then
making
you do need to
choices?
step into it too, though, right? This is the thing. Everything's, good, but it's just an idea until you take action. Right, this is what we know, like, and we're not telling anyone that they have to do anything or they don't, but just think about it, and it's the whole thing about all these governments and actors and singers not being real. When I'm not saying that that's 100% true, but if you look at it like that, you're not going to be influenced by them.
Oh,
If
but
you're
I'm
looking like, well, fuck,
influenced
I
by them.
don't even know if this guy's real. Well, you're not going to be like sitting there going, oh my God, he said this, I need to do this, right? It's just, who cares, right? It's a way of thinking, it's a vibration.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can take it as a fact that no one gets any of their like truth from that perspective.
Let's hope,
But
yes, yeah.
but it's very different
But
because
it's,
last year I was very grumbly and niggly. I was very grumpy about the fact that like I was being like restricted by their stupid laws and bylaws and taxes and councils and all that shit. Like that's so this is such an amazing response to that. And what a fucking new amazing level of the game to like get your I mean to me that would be a life lived well. If we're going to be here, we might as well like get out of all this shit and know what our perception of how our perception of reality changes vibrationally and what that opens us up to.
mm,
So like I think that we've hit the level of the game, and Tartaria was a level of the game. It was a new level of the game, and we always said that like we were entering the new level, and you can touch it and feel it, and it's physical, and hear the buildings, and go and fucking give it a kiss. Like you can go and smell them and see them, and it was very liberating to have that experience in the truth community. It took the loftiness out of it. It took it back to the earth, right, back to the land again.
and mm,
But this is the next level, right? This is the next level. Like getting out of this. To me, my life will be lived very well having got out of that and into that next level because our perception, our vibrational output will be changed. Beyond a shadow of doubt, our vibrational output will completely change. It will be enhanced. It will be so
mm,
much stronger because at that point, you're not a victim to anything. What are you a victim to? Like everything we complain about and moan about is because we're in that victim tyrant relationship and they're the tyrants and we're the
yeah.
victims. So if that's all gone, if there's no longer a victim and tyrant playing out in your reality vibrationally, you're in the heart. And like, what a different view on being alive on this earth if you're just coming from an unrestricted place of heart.
Mm.
No tyrant, no victim.
Yeah, totally, totally. And this is the way to get rid of the system. It's not to give your energy and focus on them like, I hate you, you need to fall. Oh my God, they're so bad. Look what they're doing to me. That's putting your energy on them. That's focusing on them. What we focus on becomes true. Like the way to get rid of them is to focus on
They piss you
yourself,
off.
right? Focus on yourself. You
It's
are
very hard not
somebody.
to get pissed off.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I mean, it's
It's
wasted
super
energy.
hard, man, not
We've
to
been
get
doing
fucking
it.
pissed off.
We've been doing it for decades, and what's
It's
changed?
wasted energy. If we can do something about it, yes.
Exactly. We need to stop and think, okay, we're doing this. What are the results? Well, the results are we seem to be worse off now when this whole thing started. Look at what they're trying to lock down now, right? With the internet, all this kind of stuff. So if you put your focus on
Oh,
yourself,
for sure, for sure. As
mm,
engineered.
totally. So the way out is in. Find out who you really are, stand in your power, and ignore the system, and it will fade away.
And And the more people who do it and present living examples of it, like what we're planning to do, then obviously the example gets less and less complicated, less and less confusing, less and less convoluted in all of this bullshit that, is what turns people off from doing it because it seems very overwhelming to go from the truth community, and understanding all this stuff and, like all the shit that's gone down with that to actually send back your birth certificate, passport, driver's license, all those things and say, no, that's not even me.
That's
Like
not me. No.
that would be, if you do that without the wisdom, that would be quite a vulnerable thing to do. And like most people aren't willing to do it because it's hard, right? If you don't know what you're doing. But the more people who
Sure.
do it, the easier it's going to get, and it's going to become a no-brainer. So I hope that in the next, decade, we're looking at a complete like transformation of the truth community from this perspective.
Mm.
That the truth community become the true sovereign inheritors of the land. And it's an undeniable fact. I mean, I guess they're going to contradict that with all of these fucking engineered omens that are going to rally people up into the fact that, there's inevitably a biblical or a Abrahamic apocalyptic event happening and it's written in stone and it's absolutely happening and that's what's happening and it's going to be hard to not get caught up in that when you're actually getting affected by it via the weather or whatever.
Yeah.
It's easy to affect us with weather. Like it's easy to affect a lot of area and vast populations with weather and do it systematically so it looks like there's a massive global um, event happening.
Mm.
But, at the end of the day, we are the event. That's what I like. We are literally the event. Without us, they have no event. They have nothing because we're the ones that are projecting it forward.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, we're the creators, man, and that's what they're using us for. Yeah, without us, what would they do? Like they're totally 100% focused on us, controlling us, like trying to own us. Like you've got to ask yourself why. And I mean, just that realization shows you that they're insignificant, pathetic things that we should be paying no attention to. I said before, they're the worst example of humanity ever, right? We know all this. So let's ignore them and go in a different direction. That's what I think that this is a remedy, right? And these are words we have to learn, like remedy. Like if they have to provide remedy, this is a remedy. Get out of the system because when it gets down to it, they have to follow their own law as well, right? Their own legalese law. So, a
In
lot of
their
this
weird and wacky way.
they're weird and
Yeah.
wacky spell casting, right? And this is what it says in the Bible, the law was handed down by Jehovah or Yahweh or whatever. These are my 10 commandments. This is how you must live. This is how you must worship me. Worship what? I mean, a God that requires worship from his creation. I mean, we're talking about a psychopath, guys. Like seriously, that's a that's a
And that has to
psychopath.
and that has to land in victim and tyrant. It has to land in victim and tyrant. These are fallible quirks of victim and tyrant. Like you can see how it's played out over well, we don't even know how long. Like that's another edge. Fucking who knows what time
Time.
it is, really. Like
Yeah.
we don't even know the time. But so like it's played out. It has been given to us as a timeline that's played out over a long period of time, whether that's true or not, but that's what we've been handed. And and like if you look at the actual results of that version of history, there's nothing in there to do with love. because it's not coming from creator. It's not coming from, if we're not, the heart seal's the fourth seal. And we have seven if you want to look at just the energetic system, if you believe in that. And we don't really know, but let's just say, like, the heart's the fourth. That's halfway through the journey of perceiving reality. It's halfway through. And all of this Abrahamic bullshit from all the religions are in the third seal, even lower, the second seal, the even lower in the first seal. The sex, the fight for the sex, there's, fight or flight mode. You can see that the whole economy is underpinned by sex. And that's been like a massive push from the parasitic agenda, massive push from the Abrahamic religions is the corruption and the push and the focus on that. So sex sells basically is like, I would say, if you were to sum up the economy as it stood throughout history with the banking situation, sex sells. And that's how people sell, And so like that's right down in the second seal, which is essentially explained to me as like, the conscious, like social programming, like that you have not got to the point where you're comfortable being an individual or presenting yourself in a unique and individualized way. You're much more focused on how the collective sees you, how you're perceived, how your beauty is perceived, how your physical being is perceived, how you're perceived by the social parameters around you. That's the second seal. So we can see that like there has not been a living example on this realm as far as any representation of creator or God that has ever moved past victim and tyrant, ever.
Yeah. Well, it's true, right? I mean, all the religious books are all very, very victim and tyrant, right? Like,
All of it.
whichever way it be, like being a victim to God or thinking God is the way out. Like it's still victim tyrant, right? It's still good, bad. It's still polar opposites. And until you get to your heart, then you're in that. The heart is where you start to realize that you have value. And then you get to your throat where you can speak that. You can speak properly, right? You can dispel the spells. And that's how we go up, right? Up to your third eye where you can see and project who you really are.
Fuck yes. Yes, that is so important. It's so true. The throat chakra is above the heart chakra. And this is one of the things I'm so excited about the learning this information because yes, you'll be able to speak finally, speak truth finally, speak your truth finally, and speak it confidently because you've moved through victim and tyrant, you've dropped it. You've dropped it. You've gone through the heart, man, and you can speak again. It's so fascinating when you apply a vibrational process up your own system, not some fucking lofty diagram out there in some biblical book or some fucking book out in some Kabbalah, but your actual physical system that you're in right now is giving you the pathways of where you want to go to shift your perception of reality and thus all things that exist around you in all directions at all times, because time doesn't exist. Even direction doesn't exist. Nothing exists. And that's where you could take the simulation concept and put it into here as an interesting conversation. But you can see, so when we'd like just go back to that concept of the world maps, and we've all looked at it from different perspectives, and the old maps versus the new maps, and the flat Earth with it. But it's pretty quirky to understand that there's a possibility, probably a very high possibility, that you can walk this world. That this world is governed by a water mass that's in the center of it, and that you can basically transverse all of it. And that if we were to identify all the areas that are restricted or off bound prohibited, we'd probably see the evidence of that. You would probably be able to validate that the continents are connected.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, and
mind-blowing.
again, that's the land, right? Which they don't want us to have dominion over. So
That's right. They fucked the land. That's right, Campbell. That's been their whole fucking push. Fuck up our version of what the land is.
Yep. Cut it into little parts, divide it, put all these imaginary lines around, tell this side of the line that they're different to the other side, and that they need to fight each other, and it's all just manipulating the land, right? And ultimately, we don't know what the land is.
Yes.
We don't know anything about the land.
It-
That's what we've got to reclaim.
It's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. So when we start to overlay all of these concepts that we've looked at through Tartaria over the decades, all of these ideas, you can, because always people say, well, why? Why would they bother doing that? Why would they tell us the world is round if it's flat? Why? So I get that question all the fucking time. Why would they bother? What's the point? Well, the point is, without doing that, they wouldn't have an economy. They wouldn't have control over the economy. They wouldn't have control over anything. Like it gives us our legal system, it gives us our economic system, it gives us our religions, our cultures, it gives us our governments, it gives us our councils. All of it comes
Mm.
from them manipulating our perception of the land.
Mm. Yeah, and ultimately, all this restriction and you can't do this, you can't do that, we own the national parks, that is them trying to gain consent from us so they can then take over the land. And we're sort of slowly, moving into that. Just because that's what we've been brought up with, right? Oh, the government says you can't go there, so we can't. And, Canada, a guy just got fined, what, 28 grand
Oh,
Canadian, which
yeah.
is like 450 or something,
Yeah.
for walking in a national park.
That's right. They put these big restrictions on the national parks in Canada just
Hmm.
recently, like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so they're trying to claim the land, but more than that, they're trying to get us to agree to it because we
Yep.
have to.
Yep.
Everything is consent at the end, right? So you can
Because
not consent.
that what happens when they do that, they build new maps. So when like the land is restricted or prohibited and you can't access it, it's so easy just to like get it off the map or remove it from the map or change the map or manipulate the boundaries or the borders, blah blah blah. Like it's yeah, it's a
You can't prove
in
it.
the
Yeah.
in the last 5 years in Australia, I mean, and we really need to compile this. I really think this should be the next edition. Is that, like fundamental areas that we have all had access to and enjoyed in the last 5 years have been removed, changed. Like Lake Eyre is the lake in Australia, the Salt Lake, that
Yep.
is has the colors and everything. Yeah, that used to be, that's a top tourist. It's just gone.
Yep.
Kakadu National Park.
Uluru.
Kakadu fucking National Park.
Kakadu.
Uluru. Yep,
Yep.
Uluru, obviously all the way, all the areas that like South Australia. I mean, there's more of South Australia prohibited than not, like it's it's phenomenal. Mount Warning, which is so famous here in the Northern Rivers, is like has since 2020, I think,
Hmm.
has been suddenly like
It's got a fence around
off
it. You can't
limits.
get in. Yeah.
And now security guards, for fuck's
Patrolled.
sake.
Yeah, patrolled. But
And
for
then
safety, right? Yes.
do you remember a couple of a while ago now, we just had a short conversation about this, but I wanted to follow it up and we didn't, which was like there's all these little videos coming out here in Australia of people, just not truthers at all, but they're just people who are campers
Oh,
who
camping.
have
Yes.
been going around and just wanting to camp and have been told that everything's sold out. They can't go there. But then when they go there, there's no one there. So like they're putting like these like in Australia particularly, I don't know about the rest of the world yet, but they are really limiting and restricting quietly without anyone realizing what you have access to and where you can go, which in Australia is notable because this whole country is famous for camping and doing the like grey nomad circuit and going around in caravans. It's sort of like been the holidays and entertainment of the Australian people for, my whole lifetime anyway.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what, yeah, we were brought up doing, right? Wasn't going overseas. I was just packing up the old station wagon and cruising out to the bush.
Yep.
And now
Yep.
they're trying to restrict all that as well. So it's going on. But this is the thing. We need to start reclaiming this stuff and calling BS to it, you know?
Oh, it's just
It's
so fascinating. Look, I feel like what's happening here with this sort of conversation is we are taking it to the next level. That's what I feel. I feel like it's all starting to make more sense
Hmm,
from this perspective, and the pathway through it is becoming more and more obvious from this perspective, and why
exactly.
they've done all this, and that it's
Yeah,
all literally focused on the land and the maps and the land and restriction and the maps and the land and the land and the land, but all governed from retarded areas, the sea. I mean, have you guys, like, we all know it's maritime law, but have you ever thought, what, how the fuck did that even occur? That suddenly we're governed by maritime law? What? What
yeah,
is that? How
wow.
did that even come to being? That, like, that becomes our legal system. We who cannot live in the ocean, we who cannot be in the ocean, who cannot grow in the ocean or have families in the ocean, we're not mermaids or mermen. Not that I'm saying they don't exist, because potentially that's a whole
Potentially
other
they do.
level.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't even know what's going on in our
Hmm.
waters,
And then, who brought the waters? Who brought the Great Flood?
Yep,
There was that
Exactly.
loving God who decided to kill everyone on earth, right? That's the waters. Like it's religion. It's whoever you want to call them, Yahweh, Baal. It's all the same kind of pantheon of small g gods, right? So that's where the water came
4G
from.
gods. That's funny because just as you said that, I was like, and what about 5G and 6G? That's more G gods. Fuck, man. G's, all the G's that
Jeez,
we govern by the 4G, 3G, 5G, 6G, 7G, all the little gods, all founded on the electrical circuit, the airways, the fake and false airways is
the
of course
L,
electricity, the
the
L,
L,
exactly.
yeah,
So
electricity.
we're up to God. We're almost up to God six. We're almost up to yeah, we're almost up to God six. We've had five. We've had God five.
And
We've had five
what
G.
are all those G's? What are they all but a slightly different frequency?
Yep,
They're all frequency bands, right? So,
yep. They're all frequency
so is
bands.
believing these stories, so is following these stories
Yep,
and believing that, that if you don't find God that you'll go to heaven, which by the way is your chakras.
yep,
Hell is red. What color's the devil, guys? Red. That's your base chakra, right? What are we supposed to do? Step into the white light. Oh my God, that's your crown chakra.
yep,
Hang on. Maybe these little guys, these little G gods, they're just manipulating us, manipulating the story because they can't create. They just steal another story and then change it, all right? So
yep.
if you don't hit the white light, you end up living in your bottom chakra, which
Well,
is
I mean,
hell.
yeah. And we all know that all the G's, the 4G, 5G, 6, they're all bad for us.
Oh,
We
all
know
of
that.
them.
We know
Yes.
that they destroy life, kill life, maim
Yep.
life, manipulate life. They bring sickness and disease.
Mm,
They bring control, and it's costing us more and more money. So it's like enslaving us financially. At the same time, it's like destroying us and
mm,
killing us. And that
mm.
to me is a perfect
And
summary of the Abrahamic religions. To me, is
totally.
6G, 5G.
Yeah,
You know?
and it started. They used to tell us, right? It's coming to you via the airwaves, right?
Yes,
TV and
that's
radio, the airwaves, right? Hello, frequency waves in the air.
yeah,
This is the
absolutely.
manipulation, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
Hmm.
I mean, that's pretty fascinating. I love that conversation. There's so much more we can talk about that. But Campbell, I think we're going to wrap it up there because we
Yep.
just wanted to do a short little show there. We didn't
Short
want to
show.
not do a show, but man, look at the jungle behind me. We have to go and sort it out. See the
Bit of work
vegetable
to
garden.
do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bit of
Yep.
whippersniffing. So come down, if you want to come early, we're here now. Volunteers,
Yep.
yes, we would love to see
But
you here. Bring your whippersnipper, bring your
everyone,
chainsaw, bring a good
yep.
conversation
Yep.
and a beer or two, right? And let's sit around and
Yeah.
chat and get some work done and it's good. Be in nature, in the sunshine, breathe in the air, move your body, get away
On the
from the
land.
screens.
Yeah.
After this show, of course,
Yes.
you're allowed to watch Tartaria Australia, autodidactic, but then get out in the garden.
Yeah, and make sure that you do attempt to come and see if we're real at least once, so then you know that you're talking to real human beings. And also if you are coming down for the Jolly Swag Tour, please jump onto the WhatsApp group. Campbell will leave a link in the description because that is our way of being in contact with you in case you find yourself lost or anything like this, or you have any questions you need to be responded to on the spot. As far as the weather is concerned, it's looking fucking good. We've got energy workers all over the place, like bombing this moment in time with good vibes, good fucking highest vibes possible. We plan to have the highest vibing experience together that's possible energetically. And if you haven't bought a ticket, think about it. You don't have to camp, by the way. You can just come for the day. You don't have to like come for all this time. You can come for the day. And a lot of people are turning up in their cars. If you have like not you're umming and ahhing because you don't have a caravan or a trailer, cars are fucking fine. Lots of
Hmm.
people are just going to buy a swag. There's
Yeah,
swags at the stores,
yeah.
really good deals on swags right now. Chuck it in your car and come.
Yeah, we saw some cool swags, $120. So,
Yep.
that's a good option. But yeah, car, whatever, come down. We have said that you can bring your furry friend, but 100% your responsibility. They do have to be restricted because, if we end up with a lot, we can't have packs of dogs roaming, and that's what dogs tend to do. So you can, but 100% your responsibility for 100% of the time that you're here. So just keep that in mind, but they are welcome. And we'd love to see you, man. Come and, have some conversations because all of this stuff might seem big and like, oh, well, what's the solution? The solution is more conversations because we don't have the answers. But when we get together, we're all pieces of the puzzle, and that's how we get to the solutions.
And that's what we're banking this whole Jolly Swag tour on. This is something that we are the festival. What you bring, what skills you bring, what workshops you bring, what markets you bring, what fucking products you bring, all of that is the festival. We are it. So if you're planning to come, bring something and present yourself in whatever way is comfortable to you. But like be a part of it. That is that truly to me is what a festival should be.
Mm,
That we set up the space and it's like it functions and it's organic and beautiful, but like it's the people who turn up that provide the
exactly.
event.
Yeah.
And apart from a few organized things, like we are the event, and that's why it's so fucking magical.
Yep. Bring your instruments, whatever skills you have. If you have, a business or something you're doing, bring a table, set it up and let people know what you're doing. If you're an artist, bring an easel, paint a painting out in the
Yeah.
field, whatever it is. But just come prepared for an awesome time. Bring your skills and your wares and you're welcome. And the more that you do that, the better it'll be, right? It's just coming together for festivities. It's not
Yep.
about us. It's
Yeah,
about
but mainly for my
everyone.
birthday. It's mainly for my birthday. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it is going to be a fucking excellent birthday party, depending on what everyone turns up
I
with.
know.
Maybe we need some games, some party games. Anyway,
Oh
but
yes,
on
if
the
you want to bring
Friday night,
games.
just heads up, everyone, we're doing speed dating. We're doing speed dating. Now, of course,
All
this
right.
isn't just for people looking for a date, but
Looking
also
for
for a
love.
bromance or just a friendship. But that's right. But it's going to be a really fun endeavor. And what Cameron and I've realized out of this whole thing is that we are now we can function as a mobile festival. We have everything we need now to actually turn up with the trailer to someone's property and do an outdoor festival, which is just like perfect because we've always wanted to be around campfires, always and forever during the night. So our idea of invite us to dinner now has sort of evolved to invite us to have a festival
Invite
on
us
your
to your block
property
of
sort of thing.
land. That is so.
Yeah, man. I mean, how
Mm.
cool. Because all we bring is a node point for people to gather. And the gathering is like the obviously the purpose and the point and the highlight. So
Mm.
yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm so excited, Campbell.
Yes, come and meet your
Fuck
tribe.
yeah.
All the
Let's
links
go
will
and
be
do some gardening.
below. Mm.
All right, everyone. Excellent. Lots to chew on there. And there's so many little interesting things to chew on. So if you guys are up for it, I think next edition we're going to explore some of the edges and focus in on the land. Let's
Mm.
make it all about the land because in those national forests are hiding something. They're hiding something. That's why they
Oh,
came up with national forests because they never do anything in the favor of the environment or living human beings if it is not part of their agenda. So every national forest is not in favor of us. It is totally part of their agenda. But why?
right.
Let's start
Why
compiling
are
some
they
info.
restricting us? What is out there to be discovered, right? Let's bring back the
Yeah.
adventurers and the time of discovery.
I think we're on a good roll here. I think life's going to start looking very different in a year or so. Very different indeed. And about
Mm.
time, right?
Oh, totally, man.
I'm not sitting around for a fucking Phoenix event, by the way.
No, fuck that. No, 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 we create our
No,
own.
or even a plasma apocalypse.
No, no, we can't believe that everything's energy and our thoughts create things and then be worried about all this, information from outside. I mean, even even if it was predestined, which I don't believe in, we can still change it, right? Because we're the creators.
Fuck yeah.
So
Who
the future
predestines?
is
How can you
whatever you want
predestine
it to
something?
be. Yeah.
How can you predestine something in a reality that's
You
dependent on individuals projecting it forward? How is that even possible?
you release a book, you tell people that God wrote it and they must, follow it or they burn in hell. Basically.
Well,
That's it. It's all
fascinating.
stories. It's all his story. Don't believe it. Believe yourself.
Yep. All right, everyone. Fuck yeah, Tartaria Australia live at the farm. We will start seeing you all very, very soon from this day forward. And look, big call out. If anyone's a videographer and around
Oh,
and
yes.
coming, we'd love someone to capture this whole event, do some interviews, show how fun it is,
If you
so we
have a
can show you guys.
drone, bring your drone if you have one. We'd like some. Yeah, that would definitely help us out. So let us know.
Woohoo.
And I'll leave the
All right,
link
everyone.
below for the WhatsApp group. If you're coming, join it. Can and get to know people, right? But also, just in case you get lost or whatever, you've got a place to contact us.
Yes, excellent. All right. Well, we love you so madly, deeply. How excellent and exciting this new adventure is. I'm pumped. And we'll see you all very soon on Tartaria, Australia.
The Jolly Swag Tour. Stay awesome.